Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to my channel where it's all about empowering your adventures and getting you outside. So today we are going to talk about SRAM Axis, electronic shifting. And this is such a cool advancement for electronic shifting for dropper seat posts, changing gears, but I'm going to tell you, I was a late adopter to electronic shifting a number of years ago because I was so nervous about more things to charge, more things to worry about. Being out on the trail, I do really long rides, and being out on the trail and running out of batteries. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to tell you in, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or more, I have not run out of batteries on the trail even one time, which is amazing. It's a really cool product, totally worth checking out. So we're going to talk a little bit about SRAM Axis batteries today and how they work, what you do with them, and how to really preserve that battery life so that you're confident out on the trail and you're not worried about running out of juice. All right, so here are the SRAM Axis batteries for your electronic shifting and your dropper posts. Super teeny weeny, they weigh 24 ounces, which is about the weight of 6 pieces of paper. So super light. There's no excuse not to have an extra one. So the first tip is charge your batteries. I just keep this here on my bike shelf. I've always got a battery charging in there. When I'm ready to go, they're ready for my ride. And then I bring a couple extras with me, or probably just one, and it goes in my regular toolkit. It's just part of my tire flat changing stuff. That goes on your bike with you. 6 pieces of paper. It's very light, and extra battery is no big deal. All right, so let's go out and look at my setup on my mountain bike, and I'll show you a little bit more about SRAM Axis. Okay, so here's my bike. Again, we're talking about batteries for SRAM Axis, and just a little tidbit to know. So how many shifts can you get? It's like how many licks of a Tootsie Roll to get to the center. How many shifts you can get on a SRAM Axis battery. And what they say for road biking, this will last up to 60 hours. For mountain biking, up to 25 hours. So that's a lot of riding. That's a lot of ride time. I do not charge my batteries after every ride. It's not like your iPhone or your cell phone that you need to charge in every day. The batteries last a really long time, and I usually just leave them on my bike and have one spare in my setup. So to check my battery, how much life do I have before a ride, I'm going to just click the shifter and look down here. If I see a green light, that means you've got green battery. Green is good. So if you see a green light, you've got more than 25% battery, somewhere between 26 and 100. If you see a red light, you've got between 10 and 25% of the battery life left. If you see blinking red light, you've got less than 10%. And I'm gonna tell you, I've headed out on a ride and forgot to check and was out the door already, did a click, I saw a red light, and I went for a 4-hour ride, and I still didn't run out of shifting. I was nervous about it, but that was a really good test. And like I said, I've never run out of batteries on the trail. I've always got a spare one in my kit. It weighs nothing. So it's a really easy way to kind of make sure that you've got enough battery and enough juice out there. So another cool thing about battery life that people are worried about, I'll show you. So here is the battery for my dropper seat post right there. It just clicks in and out really easily. Green light, and the battery for my shifter is the same battery. They're interchangeable. So one trailside tip is if your derailleur runs out of shifting and your battery's dead, you can just swap these two because the dropper post isn't as important as your shifting, so you can still get home and have some gears and not have to ride a single speed. All right, another little battery tip. You've got your batteries, they're charged, they're showing green lights, but you're on the trail and the shifting isn't working. One thing that's happened to me one time only in a number of years, there's a small little battery inside your shifter pod, and that's just the basic CR2032. That's the little round watch battery that goes in your Quark power meter, is the same battery as this. So again, I keep one of those little tiny batteries in my toolkit. Same thing though, if you've got a Quark power meter, you can take the battery out of here and put it in here if you need to. These last a really long time. But if you're heading out, like say for, you know, a 7-day really important bike packing ride, I would check that shifter pod battery just to make sure. And again, you've just got a spare with you. It's just part of your toolkit now. So like I said, I used to be really nervous to use electronic shifting and electronic dropper post, but I can't tell you how much I love it because one, it gets rid of cables. It's very easy maintenance. You might think, well, how do I fix electronic shifting on the trail? I haven't had to, is kind of the really great thing. And there's also on the SRAM app and on the SRAM website, there's some really great troubleshooting tips that you should go check out. Things like how to pair when you put your new SRAM Axis on your bike, how do you pair this shifter so it's talking to this shifter? And it's real easy, or if on the trail it wasn't happening, you just are holding down the little SRAM Axis buttons, and it gives you instructions on how to pair this up to your shifter. So they're talking to each other. So again, it's not super intimidating. I am not a super techie person, so I was really nervous about electronic shifting, but I've loved it. And you can also adjust your derailleur on the fly. There's a way to hold down, again, the SRAM button and shift it, and that will adjust your derailleur if your shifting isn't going well. I've never had to do that on the trail. It's always worked flawlessly, and I really, really love it. So the other thing you can do is, again, there's an app, because there's an app for everything, but the SRAM Axis app is really cool because here I can see right on here, here's my rear derailleur, my Live Peak 29, here's my rear derailleur. I can see how much battery is there. It's almost full. You can also, add new things. I haven't added the rest of my controllers, the rest of my Axis controller on there, but you add all these things, you set it up for each bike, and you add a new bike profile. And so that way you know that your one bike is talking to your one bike and it's not talking to your other bikes. And you might think they might get confused and messed up, but it really doesn't happen. It's pretty cool. You set it up once, it's good to go. And then you can check your battery also that way if you really want to know a precise number of how much battery is there. You can also go on here for help and questions. And there's a bunch of great stuff on here to basically help and support. What do I do? Axis videos. I've watched a few of these frequently asked questions. So it's kind of all right there. You don't need to be intimidated about having electronic shifting and electronic dropper post. It's going to basically free your bike, free your mind, less cables, way more fun while you're out on the trail. So I hope that that helps kind of empower your next ride. And I hope you like this video. I hope it motivates you to get out on a great adventure on your mountain bike. And most of all, be good. Thanks for tuning in.